I'm Nancy Summers. I'm here today with Gary Gerber, the founder and CEO of Sunlight and Power, and we're going to discuss the transition from SLP 1.0 to SLP 2.0. Gary, what triggered the transition to stage 2.0?
Well, Nancy, in order to answer that question, I really have to we have to talk a little bit more about 1.0, which started in '76, the first stage of our existence, which was small residential solar hot water, was where we started. I'd say the 1.0 lasted about 25 years because 2.0 started in around 2000. What got us from '76 to 2000 was growing our business into all sorts of thermal solar applications, which immediately came to a halt in 1985, 1986, when the tax credits, both state and federal, that were fueling the industry both disappeared within a 1-year period. And along with probably 98% of the solar companies disappeared as well. We managed to transition into doing passive solar design and installation. So we ended up doing a lot of glass room, sunroom additions and such for about 15 years, from 85 to 2000, which I call the solar doldrums. But around 2000, we got the net energy metering law passed, and we had the SGIP rebate program began about 98. And that really got the new era of solar going, which I call the era of solar electric, or PV. And we jumped feet first into that at that time and started really growing the business. I think we were, at that point, we were down to 6 or 7 people. And within a few years, we were up to 30, 40 people. So SLP 2.0, I think, started as we grew our business and had to change the way that we operate.
What was the company structure like at that point?
Well, I've always operated, I think, from the roots of the 4 of us originally making all our decisions together. I've always operated in a way that's cooperative with the people who work for the company. I don't like to dictate. I like to operate as much by consensus as possible. You know, I consider my role to be, I'm sort of the tiebreaker. I need to make the decisions that need to be made that can't easily be made by a group. We actually, in the early 80s, I do want to mention, we briefly became a co-op, and it greatly complicated our lives, and it was a big mistake, let me tell you, because we didn't really do it very effectively. And it ended up that we had so many owners at that point who all felt they were equal owners that we couldn't get anything done. And by 2004, we had wintered it down to one. I had one other partner of that group left who I bought out. So for SLP 2.0, essentially, I was the sole owner. But again, I always have a group of the leaders within the company that I would go to for decision making.
Who were the customers you served at that point in time?
Well, we were still doing, we started off PV, doing residential PV. Keep in mind, I'm a mechanical engineer. I really had no training or specific knowledge about electrical. We had to learn it as we went. And then in around 2005, 2006, I realized that there was a tremendous market available that was untapped in the affordable housing realm. And I actually hired an engineer specifically to go after those projects and pursue the affordable housing market, which is multifamily affordable housing. So we got our start in 2005, 2006 in that market, and we have been growing that market ever since.
What was the core strategy of the culture at that point?
You know, we've always been a team. I would say team and with leaders who listen to the people that work under their supervision. And just I think that the real change that the real issue or practice that changed everything for us started in the early 2000s when I gave instructions to Patch Garcia, who was handling all of our hiring at the time. Well, she gave instructions to me, probably is more like it. We needed to hire people who had the right philosophy, not just the right skills. And so attitude over aptitude is what I like to say. And that really changed everything for us, because that means that everybody that is working at Sunlight and Power is rowing in the same direction. Everybody has an understanding of what we're all about and what motivates this company to do what we do. So the SLP 2.0 period was the time that I hired many of the engineers, and we really worked to develop our standards of quality and engineering excellence.
Gary, would you say profit was a high priority during this phase?
Well, it was starting to enter my cognizance that we needed to actually make some money in order to survive. But since I was at that point the sole owner of the company, if the company didn't make money, and that meant I didn't make money, and that was okay with me generally, as long as I could survive. So profit was not a key focus of mine, and as long as we could do quality work and everybody got paid and was happy, I was happy.
Gary, tell me how the company's core values were established during this phase.
We had some sessions where we really worked on speaking and setting up our core values. So for example, it was in that time period that we set up our initial values, such as honor each other's humanity, use resources wisely, make a collective impact, adapt to accomplish, never compromise on quality, and serve with commitment. So these were some of the qualities. We would revisit these qualities, these core values every year or two, and fine tune them and make sure that they represent, well, and also that people can relate to them and understand them and live by them. The core of 1.0 is 4 guys with no money trying to get a business started. The core of 2.0 is finally down to me running and growing a business using a leadership team as my sounding board, but me taking all the risk and theoretically getting all the reward. 3.0 is the ESOP, and everyone is now an owner, and everyone is now accountable and responsible and sharing in the rewards. So those are phases we've gone through. I don't think we knew we were going, we didn't really know we were going through phases per se, but looking back, we can see that these are the phases that we went through. And we are in a new phase now. And everything we've done up to this point has certainly prepared us, I think, to go to this next step.